All right, so we're here today to talk about this Rapido Trains HO scale MLW RS18-u. This is a CP unit. I don't have very much Canadian stuff, particularly locomotives. I've never really gotten into the stuff that we already have here in America. But one thing I always wanted growing up was to have a uniquely Canadian locomotive. Now, when I was younger, and we're talking 20 to 15 years ago, um, there wasn't a whole lot of Canadian stuff available in the U.S. market. Proto made some of the other manufacturers made some, but it was really only available in Canada. At least that's how I recall it for some reason. So when these came out, and I said, you know what, that is uniquely Canadian, and I really like the looks of them. I thought they'd be really unique units to have. We have something similar to both this and the RSC14 here in the States, and that this would just be kind of different. There'd be some different features. Of course, these are things that, we never saw here in America, at least not until CN and CP came down. Maybe these filtered down a little bit as, yard switchers or locals or something. I don't know. I really don't know anything about these for the prototype, other than they're really cool. And this one's got ditch lights, and I'm really happy to have it. I don't know if I'm going to end up keeping this, but I definitely want to get it out on the Superior Scenics layout, which excuse me, we'll do that at a later date. This is strictly the review of the model. I've already done the unboxing, and that's on Sean's Trains on the Facebook group, so go on there, check it out. Give me your comments, let me know what you think. So today we're going to go over, just kind of go over the outside here a little bit, and then we're going to fire it up on the test track, go over the sound, some of the functions, and we're going to see how this thing looks and sounds. So first thing I want to point out is that, first of all, Rapido has an amazing level of detail. I don't know if you guys can make it out, but there's chains down here that are actually loose. This isn't a cast plastic chain like you might get on some models. One thing I'm going to dock this for is it seems like this plate right here is a different color. I'm not sure why, but it seems like this is just a little more faded than this, which is fine, because when this thing gets weathered up, everything's going to be faded, so that doesn't matter. I don't know too many people that are going to keep these as a new locomotive. Coming around to the front here, one thing I can point out is that the number board, I guess, plating or the fixture up here that fits the number boards and class lights is kind of, I don't know if I want to say bulbous. It's just kind of big and bulky because you've got the class lights and the number boards. And of course, I'm just used to seeing just number boards. But one thing that's kind of neat is that you've got the ditch lights, you've got the step here for going between locomotives. Another thing I'll point out, especially as we get around to the back, that the back side is glued into place, so that one won't go up. I don't know if that was by design or if that was just a mistake. Something that you don't see on American locomotives, at least I don't, is you've got this little grab iron right here that comes out. So as you're crossing between locomotives, you've got something to hold on to. And these are pretty sturdy. I don't know that these are plastic. These might be brass. Honestly, don't remember what Rapido had for these. And of course, at the front here, let me move this back a little bit, refocus this. So you've got your brake wheel up here. You've got just the tiniest little sprue mark right there, but no big deal. It's not super noticeable. Once this thing's weathered, you won't care. The only thing I like to add to the Rapido cars and locomotives is semi-scale couplers. It looks so much better, and if you decide to put scale couplers on here, like Sargent's or Inventive Models or anything like that, these things would just be spectacular. I mean, with a good weather job, like from Rob Arsenault of Weather My Trains, or Engine House Services does a good job. Something like that. Or Little Silva's shops would just be amazing to have on here. Well, you can see you've got your train line hoses down here, you've got your brake line, you got your different control cables and whatnot. As you come around this side, I do want to point out that these actually have amazing little wind deflectors here. You can see the different windshield wipers on the front. I mean, it's just, and you got the cab mounted bell up here. It's very nice. This is not the Multimark logo. I didn't really care for that look. When I pre-ordered these through Tag Trains, shout out to Tag Trains, thanks to those guys for getting these up here. And I want to know this chain. Oh yeah, that'll move. There we go. I don't know if that's better or not. But these chains will move and settle, which is kind of neat. The last time I recall seeing actual like moving chains on a locomotive was probably the Atlas H660s and H600s, and you had to apply those yourself. So this is really neat. Um, Big difference though is these engines list for $349.99. Look online, go to Tag Trains, see if they can get you some yet. But going online is your best bet to get these at any kind of discount. What's nice with Tag Trains is they'll let you know as soon as it's in and it's ready to ship to you. And obviously, different hobby shops have different benefits and whatnot. I know Tag has a really good turnaround time on that. So if you want to get something to you quickly for doing reviews and stuff like that, I've had these for a couple of weeks now. I think I just haven't had time to do the reviews. So here we are. But moving backwards here, we've got the fuel filler, we've got our air tanks, we've got the recessed fuel tank here. Another thing I think is kind of weird with these engines, I think it's throwing me off, is you've got this fuel tank that's like in the middle here. It doesn't come out like an EMD or a GE that I'm used to. So you've got like the Alco style trucks. You've got your re-railer. You've got your, I guess, safety dots. I'm not really sure. But really nice handrails. I'm pretty sure those are brass. This is plastic, but I'm pretty sure this is brass. And man, is it nice. Another thing that's kind of neat and kind of gives me the Alco feel is you've got this kind of ridge that comes over the end of the cab on both ends. I think that's kind of neat. I don't know why, but I kind of want to run this as a long hood forward. Um, it's just giving me Alco vibes. But I know the design's a little bit different for Montreal Locomotive Works, I believe it is. Um, but with that said, we keep going on here. You've got your different vents and intakes or whatever. I'm not really honestly sure about these guys. If I'm honest, you've got your exhaust here, a radiator fan, some different vents. I mean, just a lot of detail on this locomotive. Let me bring this back in here for you guys. Whoa, sorry about that. There we go. Okay. So you've got a ton of different details on here. They're just super fine details. I mean, they just really stand out. And here's what I was talking about. So this guy is glued to the grab irons. You can see that, maybe you see those grab irons on the backside moving a little bit when I try to move that. So this is glued right here. I guess I'll find out if that's a problem. It might be for switching when I go to couple and uncouple. Let's put this back out a little bit. But another thing that's kind of neat on the back again is you've got these really big blocks here for the number boards and class lights. I'm really looking forward to, seeing those operate. You've got your coupler cut levers. You've got some signage down here. I can't quite read it. I'll see if I can grab a photo that'll see it a little bit better. And I think that's your sand filler cap right there. And then you've got all the same accompanying details on this side. One thing I do want to point out, and again, like I said in the unboxing, this isn't going to be a dock against Rapido, because this is happening to everybody, not just them. But this fuel filler over here, I just glued on. You might have seen that in the hyperlapse, because that fell off in shipping. One thing I do want to point out, and maybe if there's cab interior lighting, which there very well may be, you can see the detailed interior in here. It's kind of insane. It's really cool. But again, you got the chains over here. I don't know, maybe these don't move. It should move. But you can see everything is just, all these just beautiful details. On the trucks, I mean, you got the see-through walkways or the steps here. You got the diamond plate walkways. I mean, this is just a beautiful locomotive. So let's get this thing on the test track, fire it up, and see what it sounds like. All right, so I'm going to fire this thing up here in just a second. I've got the manual here with the RS18-u DCC functions. So it looks like as soon as track power is on, the class lights come on. I'll probably change it eventually to go to with the engine startup to match up with the scale trains. Let's fire up the sound and see what happens. So F3 is flange squeal. Is there headlight? These are ditch lights. They do not flash with the horn. Now this has got F11 for the class lights, which I'll probably change to F5 to match up, or F4, depending on what my Scale Trans SD40-2s have, so they all work with the same throttle. Now, it might be a little hard to notice the red. Let me try changing the lighting here a little bit. There you go. So you can see the headlights a little bit better there, and the class lights. But now one thing that's interesting was with scale trains, when you page through the class lights, it goes white, green, red, or whatever order it is, whereas this is on, off for the next color, and then on, off for the final color. F9 is drive hold, F10 is the brake, F11 is the class lights, F12 is switching mode, F14 is head and power, F16 is steam generator. I don't think either of those would really apply. Let's see. Let's turn off that class light. Now, if we use F18, that is the ground lights, which I don't see. Might not have. F19 is the number board lights. So to select F19 turns it off. And then F20 is the splitter valve, or spitter valve, sorry. And then you've got F17 is the brake wheel. And then, let's see, that's about it. F5 is the Doppler horn, F4 is the dynamic brake. Everything else is pretty standard. So that's what that sounds and looks like. If you see the flashing green light, that is just a reflection of the Loc programmer in front of it. That is not interior cab lighting. I did not see a function here for interior lighting. Which is kind of a shame because the SW1200 has it, but maybe that's because it's a much more easily observed feature on that locomotive. So let's double check a couple things here quick. I don't know that you'll need the head and power or steam generator. I don't know that that's actually equipped on here. You can change, there's 3 different horns and 2 different bells that you can use. There's a steel bell, which is the default, and the brass bell. All that can be changed. And everything else is in French. So that's this locomotive in a nutshell. What I'm going to do right now is make a plan for programming this to the Protothrottle, and that'll be in another video. So if you guys are interested in seeing some more information on this, you can hear what it sounds like, see what it looks like here in this video. Hopefully in the next week or 2, I'll get out to Superior Scenics with Dave and Sandy and get to hang out with them and spend some time with this on the layout. Stay tuned for Sean's Trains on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, obviously. And we'll have more information coming out with these locomotives soon. I hope to see you in the next video, and happy modeling.